And here we go. Good evening and welcome to a regularly scheduled meeting of the Hartford City Plan Commission. We do have a quorum. The only one missing is Brian Balin. He is absent and excused. And with that, I'll call the meeting to order. And we have as a second item the minutes of December 11th, 2023. We would look for a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Approve in a second. Any questions, comments, concerns, or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. As we do with all our meetings, this is time for public appearances. Anything that you would like to address the City Plan Commission on that's not on the agenda, please feel free to come up. You get 3 glorious minutes. Just state your name and number. Our vast studio audience, number 2. Third call. Hearing none, we'll go to discussion and consideration of a site plan at 1610 Independence Avenue. And we have our city planner sitting there waiting.
Yes. So again, we're here for the discussion of the site plan review for this parcel here, 1610 Independence Avenue. It's the current location of Component Engineering. As you can see, it's along Independence Avenue, West State Street to the northwest here, and then Innovation Way to the south, or that's the northeast, and then to the southwest here is Innovation Way. The property itself is zone M4, which is industrial park zoning district. So all these properties abutting 1610 are zoned M4, so that it's in compliance. Elevation-wise, just to give you kind of a layout of the property, it's a relatively flat area in the back here where the proposed development is occurring. Some grade by the property lines for drainage purposes, but for the most part, it's relatively flat parcel. There is no floodplain on the parcel, so we have no environmental concerns in regards to floodplain. Floodplain's way over here on way out past Innovation Way, out in here by that port to the west. And then also there are no wetland issues here on the property, so again, no environmental issues. And then also this is the draft of the airport elevation or the height zone restrictions. As you can see, the parcel would be right down in here. It's located in the height limitation zones, but looking at the topography, the height limitations are 200 feet above the property, and zoning code would kick in prior to, I think, 45 feet elevation limit or building height elevation limit on these parcels. So there's no concerns about going into the airport approach. If they were going in this red area here or to the east or west of the airport, that area is completely different. That's the airport approach protection zone. There, it gets more strict with the regulations there, but we don't have to worry about that in this portion. This is more under federal regulation, whereas this would be under state regulation for airport control.
So we're not close to being in any type of violation?
No violation to the airport.
All right,
Yep.
thank you.
So we're good from that standpoint. Looking at the property all together, you are compliant with the lot and area widths, the building height area, the setback and yard determinations have been approved, and they comply with the zoning code for M4 zoning districts. The parking and loading spaces also comply. They have 8 or less parking stalls, so they don't need a parking landscape plan for this development, so they're in compliance with that portion of it. And then there are special regulations. We would like to, the planning staff would like to talk to the architect just about the front facing portion of that, just to see if we can soften up with some more masonry type of facade, which is what is required in the code. Otherwise, Water had sent in their comments, and they're included in your packet, as well as electric. And then for engineering and sanitary, they would like to add here on this map, they would like to have provide a manhole at the location where the 2 laterals combine into one here in between the 2 structures. That just needs to be made. We made that aware to the engineer of the stormwater or the sanitation plan set, so they are aware of that. It's just they gotta make that change on the plans itself. They weren't requiring sampling manholes or anything like that. It's just they want a manhole where these two laterals combine. But other than that, the planning staff recommends approval of the site plan review for the proposed industrial condo rental units development at 1610 Independence Avenue, subject to the meeting of the city engineer and utility director requirements.
Super, thank you.
Yep.
Questions, comments, concerns for city staff?
I have just a couple.
Go ahead.
So this is two additional buildings, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and are they adjacent, are they gonna be touching the existing building, or are these gonna be both standalone?
Standalone structures.
Okay.
Separate from the
And then
principal.
my last question really comes down to is go up a couple pictures. This will be actually facing the, as I call it, the API parking lot. What's the idea of doing for that back side of these structures? Because it's gonna be basically backing up to that actual parking lot.
So for the landscape plan, they meet the requirements because they're the same zoning district, there is no required buffer yard for them being abutting properties. And because the use complies with the zoning code, it just needs a conditional use permit. There is no additional requirements for a type of, like, putting up arborvitae's or something like that, or a fence along that property line. There are no requirements because of the fact that they are the same zoning district.
Okay. Now, the only thing that I say that is, it's obviously gonna impede into the aesthetics of their
Yep.
buildings as well, and we wanna
Yep.
make sure that everybody looks good. So that's all I had.
Just want it to look pretty.
Exactly. Just like the back of the strip mall out on, by Walmart. Oh, did we go there?
Gotta bring it up, that's funny.
I did.
You did. That is funny. Okay, with that, with seeing no other questions, would look for a motion to move forward.
I motion to approve.
Joe, and, what's your name again? Ralph is
You can do that in
fine.
April.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. Next, we have a public hearing on the conditional use permit to allow the addition of two steel metal buildings. That's interesting. When I read that, I thought, steel metal buildings, isn't it one or the other? At the property of 1610 Independence Avenue. I'd like to open the hearing and ask for a reading of the public notice.
Okay. Notice of public hearing, City of Hartford Plan Commission. Please take notice that a public hearing will be held at 5:30 PM or thereafter on January 8th, 2024 in the Common Council Chambers at the lower level of City Hall, 109 North Main Street by the City of Hartford Plan Commission to consider the following. A request for a conditional use has been filed by Pat Pinella to allow the addition of two steel mounted buildings on a lot at the property 1610 Independence Avenue, tax key number 36-1802-001-003, Zone M4 Industrial Park District. Section 13.0404 of the Municipal Code states that following a public hearing and after careful consideration, the Plan Commission may grant the conditional use permit as applied for, grant the conditional use permit with conditions deemed appropriate, or deny the permit. A map of the parcel and proposed renderings can be viewed in the Planning and Zoning Office by appointment, 109 North Main Street, Monday through Friday between the hours of 7:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. The purpose of said hearing is to hear those persons who wish to express their opinion for or against the granting of this conditional use permit, dated the 22nd day of December, 2023. Shanna Kreilkamp, City Clerk, City of Hartford.
Thank you very much. Next, we have the staff review. Sounds like you did a pretty thorough job, Jacob, going forward on the last one, but is there anything else that you would like to bring up in the public hearing?
No, as you can see, pursuant to 2017 Wisconsin Act 67, which created the 62.2, Wisconsin Statute 62.23, paren 7, paren DE, conditional use permits, we have to find substantial evidence that the criteria are met. So it does meet all the, so the proposed use of storage facility, or not storage facility, but of of a rental condo, like an industrial condo rental type of situation, does meet the accessory or the principal uses permitted for M1, M2, and M3, which are what are required for the conditional use permit for M4 district, so it meets that requirement. It meets the criteria of lot area and width. There's significant evidence in the site plan. Building height and area, again, it meets the substantial evidence that criteria is met. Setback in yards, the staff finds substantial evidence that the criteria are met. Then also parking and loading spaces, again, the proper amount of parking spaces. There technically are no loading docks or really any loading. It's more of a drive-in garage door type area where the loading would occur inside. So again, the staff finds substantial evidence that the criteria is met. In regards to special regulations, I kept this one off, or I didn't highlight yes or no because that one's more subjective to the Plan Commission itself. If it meets the architectural standards that you deem necessary for the M4 industrial park, and you can make any conditions regarding if you think there's requirements or improvements that need to be done in regards to the architectural standards of that, in regards to such as the metal siding or anything like that. If you want a more masonry siding facing the north facing portion of it towards Independence Avenue, that is up to you, to your discretion. So I leave that to you to make that determination. Otherwise, again, staff recommends approval of the conditional use permit in the City of Hartford's M4 Industrial Park District at 610 Independence Avenue, pins 36-18020-001-003 for industrial condo rental units, subject to the following conditions. These are the conditions that the staff are recommending. Approval and meetings of the conditions of the site plan review so tonight's conditions that we set forth in that site plan review. All future land use, the second would be all future land uses must meet the principal land uses under section 13.0323 paren C paren 1. It should be noted that vehicle repair and maintenance land uses are not a permitted land use in M4 districts. So that is an issue that we've had in some of the more industrial condo type ones in the past, is that we've had auto repair in them. Mm-hmm. So this is to make them aware that this is not allowed. Any change in occupants or change in the land use must file a plan of business operation with the City of Hartford's Planning and Inspection Department. This is true for all businesses in the industry in the City of Hartford. This is just to make them aware that they have to apply for this, or not apply, but they have to submit this. All building structures and objects of natural growth, whether or not such building structures and objects of natural growth are in existence, shall not encroach in the City of Hartford's height limitation zones. Again, we're not worried about that because it's 200 feet, but we just still want to put that in there just to make sure that future people, when they develop the site, or if there's further changes in ownership, they're aware of this on the conditions. And then exterior storage is not permitted for the proposed industrial condo rental units. They haven't asked for that as part of this development, but the existing outdoor storage is exempt from this condition because there already is pre-existing approved outdoor storage, just to make the developer aware of that. And then compliance with Chapter 29 Property Maintenance Code of the City of Hartford Municipal Code is also a condition. But other than that, we are in approval of it.
Other than that, wonderful, thank you. I appreciate that. With that, we'll go appearances for. Anybody wishing to appear for, just come up to the podium, state your name, business, and why you would speak for the conditional use permit. We always recommend, if you're for it, to go up and say a few words.
There you go. I think we're gonna get out of here in 10 minutes.
Always a good idea.
Good evening.
Hello. And your name and?
My name's Pat Pinella. I'm the owner of Component Engineering. With me is my son Dan. He's the vice president of Component Engineering. I'm for the project. It's just gonna be, basically rental units to small business, manufacturing. There won't be any auto repair businesses in the facility.
Thank you.
I decided that a long time ago. There won't be any really outdoor storage of any sort. We'll plant trees and, make it look like a nice property. Because eventually down the road, as we expand, we'll probably ourselves be moving into portions of those buildings, in the future. So,
Okay.
eventually, hopefully, it'll all be Component Engineering and it won't be rental properties anymore.
Thank you.
Okay,
You bet.
all right, thank you.
Anybody else appearing for? Seeing none, we would have appearances in opposition. Anybody wishing to appear in opposition? Second call, anybody? Third call, appearances in opposition. Hearing none, we'll close this hearing and ask for discussion by the Plan Commission on any point as to what Jacob brought up during his staff discussion. Don't see any discussion, then we would move to the official action regarding the proposed conditional use permit.
Motion to approve.
Okay, got a motion to approve. I gotta give this one to Scott because I. He was waving before. So second.
Wait for him to step up.
So we have Tony and Scott, a motion and a second for approval. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. We stand adjourned to the call of the chair. Thank you.